Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Kagam and welcome to a new dragging video. You guys, we have a lot to get through today, but before we start, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. These videos are popular. I can see you guys like them, always get great feedback, but many people are watching and not subscribing. Please correct that today if you're not subscribed. If you are subscribed, God bless you. Just make sure that you're still subscribed because YouTube likes to unsubscribe people from me. This happens all the time. I don't know why YouTube does this, but they do this. So just make sure you're subscribed. Without further ado, let's get started. I have a feeling I'm going to get told off today by you guys because today's batch of dragging reviews are just people who are not being they're not making any sense. Like, if you ask me, they're not really making any sense. So let's start off here at Cartier in Singapore at the Orchard. I went to the Cartier boutique at the Orchard to look at the Trinity ring. I tried on 3 different sizes, not many. However, I noticed the SA seemed unhappy for some reason. When I asked what would happen if the ring was scratched, she replied that if I was too worried about scratches, I shouldn't buy it. She came across as rather condescending, almost as if she was giving me a life lesson, implying luxury items should be purchased for personal enjoyment, and if I was overly concerned, I simply shouldn't get one. It almost felt like she was suggesting I couldn't afford it. She was. I was very unhappy. I'm not that rich wearing luxury branded jewelry. Maybe she was right. Maybe I shouldn't buy it. This brand isn't for normal people. Their target is rich people. Look, I don't know what to tell you, but both of you are right. You know, maybe you shouldn't buy it if you're worried about it being scratched. And you felt she was implying that you couldn't afford it. That is what she was implying. Now, I don't think it's like nice for like an essay to like hint to someone like, well, maybe you shouldn't buy it then if you're worried. But sometimes these things are all about tone and the way something is said in a tonal way, because it's possible that she was just like, well, maybe you shouldn't buy it then, you know, maybe you shouldn't buy it then if you're worried about scratches. It's gold. It's going to show wear after a while if you're wearing it. Like, I bought the Cartier love ring. I'm not wearing it today, but I've worn it in many other videos this week, and yeah, it's having some scratches. There are some scratches. I can see it there on the table. There's some scratches on it, but that's fine. I'm using it. I'm wearing it. It's not a museum piece. It's not something that I'm buying just to have, you know, in like this like home office of mine here. I'm buying it because I want to wear it. I mean, I know it seems really harsh, but she's right. Maybe you shouldn't buy it then. I mean, what else do people want? And the customer's also right. It's not for, it's, you know, she's like, I'm not that rich wearing all this branded jewelry. Their target customers are rich people. Their target customers are people who have a lot of disposable income. A lot of disposable income. So I think that's just something that people have to accept. The next one is the Cartier boutique at the Marina Bay Sands shopping center in Singapore. I went to Cartier today to look at wedding bands at Marina Bay, but the staff was really unwelcoming. When we asked to try the pieces, he's so passive. He didn't let us try on the Cartier love ring. I'm getting flashbacks about my experience buying that love ring. He just told us to imagine and see the piece in our sizes. I'm really disappointed with your service. Guys, I have to say, this review reminded me of like my experience at Cartier at the Champs-Élysées in Paris, the boutique on the Champs-Élysées. They are very like in these like really busy areas where there are a lot of tourists, there's a lot of people coming to shop. I haven't been to Singapore before, but I have heard online that the Marina Bay Sands like shopping center is very popular in Asia. They get a lot of tourist traffic from other Asian countries, and they have a lot of traffic from Singaporean nationals as well, and people who live in Singapore. So it's going to be very competitive. Like it's going to be super competitive, like a boutique like this. The essay is supposed to allow you to try things on, but I think that the problem with Cartier specifically and a lot of the jewelry girls is they get a lot of people who are just looking and have zero intention of buying. This experience reminds me of like when I was at the Champs-Elysees store. I already filmed a video, so I won't rehash my whole experience. You can just go check out the Cartier playlist, it's on there. But in summary, if you haven't watched that video, the essay who sold me the love ring was really hesitant to allow me to try other things on. I wanted to try on the Pave love bracelet because I'd like to buy it this year. It's 47,000 euros. I'd never tried it on before. That was the first time I tried it on. I knew I was buying the love ring, and it's only when I told her I will buy the love ring that she was okay with me trying on the other pieces. They're very sensitive about this because I think there are a lot of people who are just coming to look and have zero intention of buying anything and just want to waste time. But I do think with people who are searching for engagement rings or wedding bands, I think essays need to be way more patient. If someone's coming in to buy a wedding band, that does not mean that you should expect them to buy something today. Wedding bands and engagement rings are meant to be worn for a lifetime. It's okay if someone wants to just look and try some on and leave. But I think that the essays get really annoyed. I mean, telling the customer, just imagine seeing the piece in your size. I mean, come on, that is just bang out of order. The next one is the Cartier boutique in Johannesburg in South Africa. This is closer to home. If you don't look like you earn a lot of money here, they don't care to help you. The lady was so uninterested to listen to my needs. When someone looked like she had more money than me, passed us by, she left me to attend to this woman. How rude. You know what? Luxury essays around the world do this, and it's really, really, really rude. I have read dragging reviews of essays at Big H doing this, essays at Big LV doing this, essays at Big C doing this, essays at Dior, Gucci, now Cartier, where if someone walks in and they look wealthier, honey, they will drop you like a hot potato and run over to that person. They will do long jumps to that person who looks wealthy. Now, I know what you might say. Maybe they know that client. It doesn't matter if they know the client. They should finish with the person who they're already dealing with, because it's true. You don't know if that person's going to buy, even though they are trained to figure out whether people want to shop or whether people don't want to shop. I have to say, I haven't shopped at the Cartier in Johannesburg, so I can't judge this location. The only Cartier I've shopped at is the Champs-Elysees one in Paris, France. But the next South Africa trip, I'll definitely pass by this boutique and have a look around. I'll go to South Africa at some point this year. But this doesn't surprise me because in African culture, and I think that there's some cultural things I need to explain to the Glamazons watching who aren't from African countries. In African culture, people dress up really nicely to go to high-end places, whether it's a high-end restaurant, a high-end event, or a really high-end store. People are going to look really pulled together. So I can deduce from this that they looked a mess, because the essay dropped them like a hot potato the moment the essay saw someone who was better dressed. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying there's a cultural explanation for this a little bit. The next one is the Louis Vuitton boutique in Johannesburg in South Africa. Of course, I've been to this store many times. This is the worst store in an exclusive boutique in Sandton. Sandton is the name of the shopping center in the area where the boutique is. I felt like we were judged on our appearance, yet I know exactly what I wanted. I tried it on and paid for it immediately. We were never offered anything to drink. There were people offered champagne and elegant glass bottled water on a tray, just walking around, never bought anything. I'm a Gucci fan. I'll never purchase from here again, even though I wanted a matching bag for my shoes, but no way. I felt like returning the shoe. This is very unfortunate. And what I will say is it's unfortunate that she wasn't like offered anything, especially because she made it clear that she was going to buy. Sounds like she bought a pair of shoes. But a lot of the times when you notice that, they know that person. So the people walking around who are offered champagne and all this stuff, they know those people. And I know that feels annoying to people who are like shopping at a boutique, like, oh, well, how come that person was offered and I wasn't? I know it has to feel frustrating, especially if you bought something. But in a case like this, I would just ask. I would just be like, hey, can I have champagne? Or hey, can I have something to drink as well? I think it's completely fine to ask. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Upon arrival, this is another dragging review of the same location of Louis Vuitton Johannesburg. Upon arrival, I was faced with an unusually long queue at the entrance. I suspect this was deliberately caused as there were plenty of SAs, most of whom were playing on their phones and chatting amongst themselves despite the staff presence. It took over 10 minutes for one customer to be attended at the door. Once inside, I waited 20 minutes for another essay. I witnessed several employees continuing to engage in conversations. When I decided to document this unprofessional behavior by taking a photo, I was immediately confronted and told to stop. I'm unsure whether they were trying to hide their laziness or avoid having their actions exposed. It wasn't that, they just don't want you to take pictures. They are weird about pictures in there as well. What was most shocking was that after I expressed my dissatisfaction, and a staff member told me you can leave, and walked away without any attempt to resolve the issue. I mean, this is the Johannesburg Louis Vuitton. And I don't want to be shadow banned or cancelled because this is the closest Louis Vuitton to me vis-a-vis being in Africa, just because it's like 3 hours away. So it's the closest Louis Vuitton to Dar es Salaam. But this is exactly what I would expect from this store. I would recommend, if anyone is watching this, make an appointment at the store. There is always a queue. It is absolutely rammed. I believe this boutique opens on Sundays as well. It is rammed every single day, especially from Thursday onwards. It is completely stacked with customers. The person thinking that the queue is fake. I know people think queues at luxury shopping brands are fake. The queue at this store is not fake. They're real customers. They're real people. You have to understand that this Louis Vuitton is the flagship Louis Vuitton for all of the Louis Vuittons in Africa. There are 4 Louis Vuitton boutiques on the African continent. If I recall correctly, Casablanca, Morocco, Marrakesh, Morocco, Johannesburg, South Africa, I beg your pardon, and Cape Town, South Africa. And the Cape Town store is much smaller than this store. So this is like the feeder destination for all people who love super high-end Louis Vuitton goods who live in sub-Saharan Africa. That's a lot of people, okay, who have a lot of coins and a lot of bread. You would be surprised if you've never been to the store. You're thinking, oh, they probably made up the queue. They haven't made it up. There's always a queue. I think the last time I was there, I made an appointment, and I'm so glad I did. And they definitely treat you differently if you make an appointment vis-a-vis you just going in there and queuing. I would make an appointment, and you know me, honey, I am not an appointment girl. So to this dragging review, I feel bad for the person, but honestly, make an appointment. Once you're inside, you have to wait. Normally when you get there, they like assign an essay to you. But then, I don't know, I'm disagreeing with the person here when they're like, you know, they noticed a few essays playing on their phones. They were engaging in conversations, ignoring customers. When I decided to document this unprofessional behavior by taking a photo, I was immediately confronted. I mean, I have to say, why are you taking pictures of people? There are capucines in there, there are bags in there, there are trunks in there, there's prêt-à-porter, there's a lot of stuff in there. They have hard-sided pieces in there, they have the men's collection in there. Why would you be taking a picture of the staff? That seems a bit combative. Like, have you come there to be annoying? Are you there to... You have to understand, like, that looks really bad. Like, are you there to stalk people? Like, why are you taking photos of essays? Now, you lost me here. I feel bad for the person for queuing, but now you've lost me. And yeah, you were asked to leave. So yeah, I don't agree with you. You deserve that skull drag. Take pictures of the products, not the people. Like the old saying goes, play the ball, not the man. Come on now. The next one, I'm sorry. The Johannesburg Louis Vuitton. It's the closest Louis Vuitton to Dar es Salaam, so I'm going to keep it cute. If anyone is from the Joburg Louis Vuitton, please be nice to me. The next time I come, I have no beef. But it's a tough store. There are a lot of high rollers from all over the African continent who shop there. You know, in when I was collecting the reviews for today's dragging video, someone else, I won't bother reading out because it was a short review, someone else I think had visited the Joburg store from the US and was saying that they had wanted a perfume refill. They got dragged. they were shocked that they got dragged, and I'm like, the way they wrote the review is that they were shocked that they were treated badly, that they asked for a refill, almost like they didn't understand that this boutique, yes, it's on the African continent, But don't be mistaken, honey. Like, it is very competitive. If you go in there asking for a refill, you're gonna get dragged. You will get dragged. I would have bought something else. That's just me, but I don't know what you guys think. The next one is Big H in Geneva, Switzerland. I've never seen such poor customer service before. I arrived at the boutique. I kept looking for someone to help me, and no one did. Then they said I had to wait downstairs for an SA to come and help. They were serving the way they serve customers is random. You can't get a real appointment. I've heard about this. There's no waiting list, and they use this line when they want you to stop bothering them with questions. Finally, every time we ask for help, the only answer we manage to agree on is, "Oh, I'm from the back office. Oh, I'm just a security guard. Oh, I just stand here by the door." I've heard this about the Geneva store, that it's like really hard to get anyone to help you and to get like any attention from the boutique. Like it's just really tough. The next one is from the Hermes Zurich in Switzerland. I had a disappointing experience at this Big H store. From the moment we walked in, the atmosphere felt very cold and unwelcoming. The staff seemed indifferent, and one in particular was especially rude. He barely acknowledged us, gave us really short responses, made it clear through his tone and body language that he had no interest in helping us. His attitude felt very dismissive and judgmental. For a brand that prides itself on luxury, this level of service is unacceptable. It's almost like he assumed we weren't serious customers. Luxury isn't about products, it's about experience. Hope they take customer service more seriously and train their staff to treat all visitors with respect, regardless of appearance or perceived purchasing power. I'll say this once, and I have said it so many times until I'm blue in the face. You have got to let SAs in European boutiques know that you are buying something today. You literally have to say, I want to buy something today. Okay, don't forget that each European country has its own language. Sometimes there might be times where maybe there are misunderstandings. English is not the language of the world. There are many languages in the world. Not every single person understands the nuances of English and the cultural nuances of different types of English. So when you're speaking to the SA, presumably in English, if you're going as a tourist, you need to make it clear that you are buying something today. Because I think that particularly Big H boutiques that are not the Parisian stores, and I noticed this in London when I was in London 2 years ago, they want to feel you out. They're kind of feeling you out, you know. They want to read your card. They want to pull your card and see, are you going to buy something, or are you just here to look around and take pictures and make it seem like you bought something at Big H? You need to make it very clear quickly that you're buying something. The next one is also from the Zurich boutique. I was on holiday in Zurich, Switzerland, together with my wife, was celebrating her birthday. You know where this is going. Yeah. Sorry. My wife wanted to buy a bag at the boutique, and the doorman opened the door for her. He asked her to wait for the SA. When the SA came, my wife asked her to see some bags. I was shocked when she told her, "Sorry, all the bags are sold out." What a shameful and patronizing tone. I don't think it's right for an SA to behave like that. My wife is a doctor in computer science. Never has she experienced such shameful treatment, and it hurt her and me very much. Never has anyone made me feel like that. It's a shame that you keep such a team. It doesn't matter how respectable the store is. It's not appropriate for SAs to be treated like that at the Big H Zurich store. I mean, treated like what? She just didn't offer you any bags. You know very well, you and your wife know very well what is, going on. Okay, one thing I really dislike about this review is the whole, babe in the woods routine, the little Bo Peep act, the Hansel and Gretel vibes of not understanding what is going on. The jig is up. Okay, every single person who shops at Big H knows very well that you are expected to, put some effort in, before you start asking about bags. I think walking straight up to the Zurich Big H store and asking for bags, like straight up, to me, I think that just comes across like, I hate to say it, but it kind of makes you seem a little bit like you don't know how things work. And it doesn't matter your wife's job. That's a fantastic job. It doesn't matter. There are all kinds of people who shop at this brand who are incredibly, successful, people who've achieved a lot. just because your wife is a doctor and has achieved all this stuff, it does not mean that she doesn't have to play the game like everyone else. Every single person plays the game, and your wife is going to be expected to play the game. So please, can you stop the whole, I can't believe we were treated like this. I can't believe we weren't given a bag that we want. You know very well how it works at Big H. So I don't get the whole innocent, Snow White act. Okay, so me personally, I don't agree with that. Tell me what you guys think. I know you might be like, well, there might be other people who don't know you have to buy things. This person who wrote this dragging review, they know very well that you have to go there and buy things. They know that. Okay, they're just annoyed that they didn't want to buy anything. Okay, honey. And they got dragged. So that's that really. The next one is the Big H boutique in Barcelona in Spain. This was a horrible shopping experience. We went in the afternoon around 2 p.m. We were put in a queue of about 15 people and told we could browse, but not the bag section. We were looking for a specific bag and asked the attendants at the front if they had it. We were told we would have to wait to have our question answered. While we were waiting, I attempted to look at a hat and was sternly told not to touch anything until we were being helped. We ended up waiting for 2 hours. I can't with the pony, honey. The pony needs to sit down and have her ponytail dragged. Just to be told they were out of stock. This is supposedly a high-end brand. It honestly felt like the staff was wasting our time. I can see how the person felt like that. Hope no one has to go through this. If you visit this location, they're better off in the mornings. I mean, I think that honestly, I feel bad for this person. But I think that the way to really anger and irritate Big H essays in Europe is to walk straight into a European Big H store, with the exception of the three Parisian boutiques. Let's put those to the side for a second. I feel like the way to really anger European essays is to walk straight into a boutique and ask for a handbag off the bat. They know what you're doing. They know what you're playing out. Even if you say, I want to buy a bag, they know you mean a Birkin, a Kelly, or a Constance at minimum. And just before we continue talking about this dragging review, a quick little tangent. When I was researching the reviews, I think one of the boutiques in Spain, someone had gone, I think it's between Barcelona or Madrid, because I'm just remembering off the top of my head. One person had gone in, and it was like him and his wife, and they got dragged at one location. I think it was the Madrid store. They got dragged at the store, and then they went to another store, and then they asked for a bag, and they were offered a bag. Now in a bag, okay, you know how people who play the Big H stuff, they don't want to tell you the bags. They want you to click on their video or read their stories. And for me, anytime someone says they were offered a bag, it is not a Birkin or Kelly or a Constance. And I was reading the review, and the person had attached pictures, and the pictures of the bag were there. And of course, it wasn't a quota bag. It was the in the loop bag that they were offered at one of the boutiques in Madrid. I'm just remembering it now. And it's like, first of all, you could have just said it was in the loop in the beginning, but whatever, okay? And I'm glad that the person was offered something. But honestly, that's a lot of effort to be offered the in the loop bag. I don't actually have anything against the bag itself, but it doesn't sound like they really bought any Birkin bait or anything. So you can't really expect to get a Birkin, Kelly, or Constance if you didn't really play the game for it. Now back to this dragging review. This is very unfortunate, but this is also one of those examples of why you have to make an appointment at the other Big H boutiques in Europe. So all the major European cities, just make an appointment, because there's just so much competition for these bags and these products. There are going to be so many people playing the game for them. Tourists, locals, top VIP customers from all over the world. I would just make an appointment so that you don't have to be stressed and be treated like this, because it is very unpleasant. I hate sitting around waiting. Say what you want about Louis Vuitton, this wouldn't happen there. Say what you want about Big Dior, this wouldn't happen there. Even at Louis Vuitton, you could mill around. And honestly, at Louis Vuitton or Dior, and frankly even Chanel, someone would come up to you and ask you if you were okay. I think I'd mentioned this in my previous video about my experience shopping at Big H this autumn in Paris, but it was the first time I went to an Hermes boutique where you're milling around the store and no one approaches you to help. All the other times I've been to the Parisian Hermes stores, multiple essays have come up to me saying, "Hi, can I help you? Can I help you?" Even if you say you're just looking, someone else will come up to you. But this is like the first time I've been shopping at Big H in Paris, like last autumn, and no one like asked to help. So wasting 2 hours and not even being seen, and then trying to touch a hat, and then someone running over, and you get told off for touching a hat. Well, trying to touch a hat. Again, I wouldn't touch it, but again, you got told off. Yeah, it's unpleasant, but the moment the moment they walked into the boutique and asked if they had, the moment they walked into the store and said they're looking for a specific bag, you basically sealed your fate of the treatment in the store, because the host is probably going to tell the essays, "Oh, those people want to buy bags." So stay away from them. Stay away from them. Like, they want to buy handbags today. So like, just FYI. So already that energy of not wanting to help the customer is there. Not saying it's right. Okay, I'm not saying it's right. But I think that is like part of the stress, basically. And it's, my husband's like, these are stores. It is a shop. They should sell people things. It's a shop that operates in its own way. The final dragging review is actually back at Big H in Madrid at the Canalejas location. And this one here is very recent, and the person says this: "I went there with my mother, who has many Big H products. We wanted to buy a bag as a gift for a family member. The service was terrible, and we couldn't believe it was such a prestigious boutique. The SA told us there were no bags she could sell us, and if we wanted to buy a bag, we needed to wait 2 or 3 years. What I didn't like about this was like she wanted to." Was that she was trying to make fun of us. This was written in Spanish, and then it's like been translated by Google Translate. "If someone wants to buy something at Hermes in Spain, I recommend going to the other Hermes in the city." I mean, honestly, you know what I'm going to say at this point. Like, I would never subject my mom to like the shenanigans at these boutiques. Like, I wouldn't take my mom to like a really high-end store unless I knew the essay, and unless that we had made an appointment. Just because, like, if you are like acting crazy in front of my mom, I'm gonna turn up at you, and then I might be asked to leave. But at the same time, if your mom is well versed in the world of Big H, she knows very well that she needs to purchase other items, and you know that you have to purchase other items too. This whole strategy of going in to ask for a bag to purchase a bag that no one mentions, it's like something out of James Bond. Just say it. You want to buy a Birkin or Kelly, or at minimum you want to buy a Constance. We all know you can't just walk in and buy them. I hope there are no Pegasus unicorns coming to waste their time. Please don't bother wasting your time saying you walked into that Madrid boutique and then you did that in 1997 or in the year 2000. We don't care. The reality is, in 2025, you need to have a history. Now, in Europe, yes, you could thug it out and wait and just buy a perfume and wait a year and a half or 2 years. We're obviously not talking about that. We're talking about people who are leaving reviews, most of whom are tourists, but some are local customers. You knew what you had to do. There's no point going on the internet to complain and moan about it, especially if you are aware of how Big H operates. So you'll tell me what you think about everything. Which one did you think was the most interesting? Which one did you agree with? Which one did you not agree with? Honestly, the people walking into the store and asking for a bag, I don't know what you're trying to achieve. Like, you know what you have to do. You know that is not how it works at the Ponytail. So I don't really understand the point of walking straight up to the host and saying, "Hello, I would like to buy a bag." That is the quickest way of getting shut down. It's like watching your computer shutting itself down, okay? This reminds me of a conversation I had with the Glamazon. We were talking about the Parisian scene and the scene in Paris. And I was telling the Glamazon that, in my experience, they're very nice to you before you ask them about leather appointments and handbags and stuff. The moment you ask a Big HSA in any part of the world, I'm willing to it, but definitely the 3 Paris stores, when you ask them about quota bags or bags, you just notice this kind of coldness and this vibe take over. That happened to me at George Cinq. It happened to me at Faubourg. It happened to me at Severus. The moment you ask for leather appointments or if there's a possibility of purchasing a bag, they just kind of they become so cold and uninterested. First, they're like fun, happy, and smiley. The moment you ask them about handbags, okay, it's like night and day. It's like a solar eclipse. Okay, they completely transform and they literally are like, oh, they're like, oh, they're just so annoyed by it, which I'm shocked about because it's like, people are going to ask you. So while I have to say the customers, I don't understand what you're doing because everyone knows how Big H operates. If you're going into Big H, you know that the handbags, you have to be nominated and it has to be allocated to you at this point. And yes, even non-quotas, you have to, at minimum, you're going to have to buy something small, like maybe a perfume, and then maybe you can ask. But at the same time, with the essays, I'm like, people are coming in to ask, so why do you get annoyed about it when people ask? It's just something I'll never understand about this thing that we call the Hermes game. It's a part of the game that I don't understand. So you let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, you guys. Again, please don't watch this video and not subscribe. Okay? Subscribe and hit notifications and sign up for the newsletter. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. There's been a lot of support this week. A lot of you have been like turning up to my videos, leaving comments. I'm very grateful for that. And God bless you guys, and I'll see you very soon in my next video.